Okay, let's come to the lecture. As I said, I would be recording this lecture. If you are not able to hear me, I would put this lecture on YouTube so you can hear afterwards also. So the topics to cover today, and with me is my daughter also here. She is a year 8 student and she's also taking this lecture. So the today's topic which we have to cover is what is a fraction? The second thing would be knowing what are equivalent fractions. The third, we would learn what is the simplest form of fraction. Then I would give you some questions which will you do. So have your notebooks with you so that you are able to do that. And the fifth topic today we would cover is adding or subtracting fractions. And afterwards, I would give you some homework which you can do it afterwards at your home. Okay, so recording of this lecture will be available on YouTube channel. The YouTube channel name is Dr. Malik Tutoring, and this is the address. I would copy it also for you. So let me send the link to everyone so that you can know that this is the. So let me copy it and send it to you on your chat. Okay, so everyone. Yeah, so you can write it. I have to. So this is a YouTube channel on which you can see the, okay. So let's see what a fraction is. So a fraction is formed when a whole number or amount is divided into equal part. That is something. We know what a fraction, in English, fractions mean a smaller part. And in math, we say if we divide the whole number into some equal numbers. If you look at this picture which I've made, can you type at your chat how many equal parts are made in this figure? Yeah, can you kindly type at your chat so that I know? Yeah, good. Good, very good. So some of the students are have mentioned there are 10 parts. So 10 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 equal parts. So something which is very important here to understand is that we are saying that these should be the equal parts. So I just try to highlight it. I try to highlight that this has to be a equal parts, not something. Okay. And then if you take some parts from this, for example, in this example which I am showing here, we have 5 over 10. So we have total 10 and we take 5 parts. So this is, I would just highlight 5 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I try to make all, sorry. Oh, I made 6, sorry. So this has been pointed out by my daughter that I am highlighting not. So if you see, so we highlight that and we have now. So this is something which we see that if we have taken 5 equal parts from 10, we would say this is 5 over 10. And we know the the number which is over it, it's called numerator, and the one which is down is called denominator. And one thing which we should remember, that if numerator is less than denominator, so the answer is less than 1. So let me ask you a question and see the, I will highlight a part of it and you should write in your chat what this fraction is. So let's say I am highlighting this. So these, yeah. So kindly write in your chat what is this fraction of the total. Very nice. So the students are interactively writing that it's 3 over 10. And let's make it more. For example, let's make it here, and I am highlighting even more. So if it is like this, so what is this? Very good, very good. So it becomes 9 over 10. And let me, and there is something very interesting. Let me ask you that even. If I make it whole, so what is this? Very nice. Someone has, it is 10 over 10, and 10 over 10 is actually 1. So this becomes 1. Yeah, that's very nice. So it means we are very clear about what a fraction is. Now, a question which you will have, what is the role of this fraction? Uh, what is practical use of fraction? That's an important question, and the student should know that. What is a practical, why, what is the advantage? The fraction is very important in many areas. For example, if your mother or you yourself is cooking something, for example, making a cake or cooking something, and you have to add some ingredient. Let's say you are putting salt. So if you are cooking less amount, the amount of salt which would be added is less. If you are adding a lot of if you are cooking a lot, so the number of or the amount of salt would be more, but the fraction will remain the same. So the fraction would remain the same. So let's look at it to the next part. What is equivalent fraction? So the equivalent fractions are fractions that represent equal portions of a whole amount. That's something which I would give some example. So it means if you have, let me go to this example and then come back to it. If you have a 3 over 4 as it's written here, and you multiply the numerator by 2, and you also multiply the denominator by 2, so it becomes 6 over 8. And this means 3 over 4 or 6 over 8 is in fact equivalent. Why equivalent? This means you are making a portion, a whole thing is divided into 4, and you are taking 3 parts of it. And here, the same one entity is divided into 8 parts, and you are taking 6 part of it. So 3 over 4 and 6 over 8 is a equivalent fraction. So let me ask you a question, and somebody should tell me, or just write in your chat, if it is 2 over 7 and we want to have its equivalent fraction. So this is a red uh, box. What should be here? So kindly type in your chat so that, yeah. So some of them, yeah, very nice, very nice. So yeah, yeah, that's good. It means because the 7 has gone to 14, so it means it was multiplied by 2. So it means we would multiply 2 by also by 2, and this would become 4. This would become 4. Very nice. And can you now, you let me know what we have in this yellow box, if it is equivalent fraction? Yeah, yes, you can. So I have my daughter, and he has also to do the question. Yeah. So let me know. And I would wait for the answer. Very nice. Some of the students have already mentioned it. Because we see this 7 has gone to 28.
No, why don't
It
you do
means it
this?
was times by 4. So
Why do I have to do this?
it was times by 4. So similarly, we will time this 2 by 4, and it would become 8. So this would become 8. Very nice. So what does it mean? This means 2 over 7 and oh, and 2 over 7 and 6 over 28. I will have to write, somehow I have, it was deleted. So this is 28. So it means 2 over 7 and 6 over 8, 6 over 28 are equivalent fraction. Oh, sorry. I am told that I have written it wrong. That's a good if you have a daughter with you. So it's not six, it is eight actually. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So that's sometimes the teacher make the mistakes. We should treat them as humans. Okay, so yeah, that's 8 over 28. So this is something which we saw, and let's move to something which is there, and then we would move to some online resources. I hope that the lecture is making some sense to you. It because, as I said, we are into testing times and going from face-to-face tutoring to online tutoring is a new experience. But I think I have very good students here. Okay, so what is the simplest form of fractions? So we have up till now read two things, fractions, and then we have studied equivalent fraction. Now we come to the third part. The third part is simplest form of fraction. What is the simplest form of fraction? The simplest form of a fraction is an equivalent fraction. So let me highlight it again. So we are saying it is in fact a equivalent fraction, but it's somewhat a peculiar, something is peculiar with this fraction. What? With the lowest possible whole number in the numerator and denominator. How it is achieved? This is achieved by dividing the denominator and the numerator by their highest common factor. Oh, there is a typing mistake. I just corrected. Uh, so it is by their. Yeah. Okay. So by their highest common factor. Let's see. There is an example, and then afterwards I will ask you to do some of the questions. So there is an example. It's 12 over 18. So what is the highest common factor of 12 and 18? And let me ask, so some of the people, some of the student would be knowing that 6 is the highest common factor. Um, what is a factor, first of all? A factor is if you have a number and you divide by another number and there is no remainder, then the second number is a factor of the first number. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. I just see if you have 8 and you divide it by 4. So we know 4 times 2 is 8 and there is no remainder. So we don't have any remainder. So it means 4 is a factor of 8. Similarly, 2 is also a factor of 8. So if we write the factors of 8, so the factors of 8, let me write it here and type it. So what are the factors of 8? So can you the students, what are the factors of 8? Just type in your chat so that I know that. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Some of the students have started writing. Very good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So let's say what are the factors of 8? So let me write it here. So the factors of 8 are 1, 2, 4, and 8. And once you have two different numbers. For example, let me take this example again. So I consider, although everyone, but I would try to help so that if some of the students do not know this, they understand this. I again write. So let's find what are the factors of 12 and 18. So what I would be doing it now, I would be writing here. So let me take this typing tool and I would say factors of 12 are. So can you kindly type what are the factors of 12? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So I have started getting some of replies from some of the students in the chat. Very nice. So I would just pause. I would just take one more minute so that the other students are also right. And yeah, in the meantime, I take a glass of water. Yeah. Very nice. So the factors of 12 are 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 6, and then 12. And let me ask, what are the factors of 6? So factors of 6 are, you have to write them also. Yeah. So we know the factors of, they are 1, 2, 3, and 6. And then we have to see what are the common factors in these two. What is meant by this? We see 1 is a factor in both in 12 and 6. 2 is a factor also in 3 is also a factor in both 12 and 6, and 6 is also a factor. So what is the highest common factor if we see? So highest common, sorry, common factor of 12, and let me just extend it a little. 12 and 6 are 6. That's good. So we know that. And if we divide this 12 by 18 by highest common factor, we have something which is 2 over 3 here. So I just highlight it so that everyone understands that I am referring to this point. And this is called its simplest form. So 2 over 3 is a simplest form of 12 over 18. I hope you have understood this. So if so, we would do some questions, and this is your task. So just of all, first find the simplest form of 8 over 20. So kindly do it and let me know what is the simplest form of 8 over 20. Yeah, what is the simplest form of 8 over 20? You can type it here. Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good. So I am getting some of the replies at the chat. Yeah. Okay, that's very nice. So I just take a different color and we try to do it so that, and we see the highest common factor of 8 and 20 is 4. So if you divide it, so it would be 4 times 2 and 4 times 5 is 20. So it means it would be 2 over 5. 2 over 5. So that is our simplest form. And simplest form means that you cannot reduce further. If you say 2 over 5, it does not come in any table. So it means it can't be reduced further. And let's do the second question. That is 15 over 25. So kindly find its simplest form. Yeah, yeah, very nice. Some of the students have started typing the answer. And let me ask my daughter also. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So we see it is the highest common factor is 5, and if we divide, let me take a green color instead of a red color. So it means you can do like this. 5 times 3 is and 5. Yeah, so this becomes 3 over 5. That's good. So that brings me to the next part of my lecture. We would have some fraction games, and you can also do, I just copy the link to everyone, and you can open this website and also play some of the games there. So I would be just stopping the share for a minute, and then I open this website and we would play that. Okay, hopefully you have opened your this website. Um, I would just share the, I would also share the screen so that you are with me. So I am fraction games for, yeah, let's play this game for sometimes and we would see what is, I would say, yeah, oh, that's quite a
What
task.
fraction of the watermelon slices are left?
What is this?
Yeah, so the question is what fraction of watermelon slices are left? So it means you have taken already. Kindly type at your chat and then I would answer and see. Yeah, kindly type at the chat. So we saw there were three equal parts. One has been eaten, so two are left. So I would see that. It should be 2/3 as some.
Well done.
So that's good.
You're awesome.
Yeah, that's
What
good.
fraction of the watermelon slices are left?
So that's the next part. How much fractions are left here? So you can always type there. So, so it is left. So it is 2/3.
Good going.
What fraction of the figure is orange?
So what figure orange part is? Um, yeah, can you type please? Yeah, that's very nice. It can be 2/4, and if we see 2/4, we can we can simplify to the simplest form. That would become 1/2. But here in the answers we do not find 1/2. Therefore, we would take it as a 2/4. But two over
On a
four
roll.
is something
What
like that.
fraction of the figure is
And I would
orange?
just do one more, and then we would move to the next part. So there are 3/4, so it would be 3/4. Very nice. So I just close
Correct.
it and I go to the next part. So we would do another part of the game, that is model fraction. Let's see. And now, oh, I have already signed in, but somehow, okay. Uh, I had to, okay. So I just somehow, just a minute. And I stop share and I would do it again just for a minute. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I am logged in. Just let me share again the game with you and we would do the next part. So I shared the screen with you and yeah. So I hope. So now we come to the second form, that is use real world objects like pizza and watermelon and fraction model to simple fractions. Let's go to this part quickly.
Color the shape such that the color parts represent 3/4.
So we have to represent 3/4. So it means we have to color three part of that. So we 1, 2, and 3. So this represent 3/4. And that's
You
correct.
rock.
Yeah.
Remove enough slices such that 1/3 of the pizza remain in the plate.
So the question says remove enough slices such that 1/3 of the pizza remains in the plate. So can you type how many pizza slices should I remove from the plate? Can you kindly type? Yeah, just yeah, yeah. Okay. So I have to remove 2 and that would become 1/3. Yeah, that's good.
Good going.
So I would do just one more question
Color the
with you
shape such that the
and
color
then
parts
we would
represent
move to the next part.
2/6.
We have to color the shape such that the color part represent 2/6. So we see there are 6 equal parts and we have to color 2. So we would just do any 2. Yeah. So that's
On a
the second
roll.
part. I just finished this and let's move to the equivalent fraction using model. That is something which we would do. That is the third part which we studied today.
Using the fraction models, complete the following statement.
So you have now this thing 1/4 and you have to find what should be here to find it a equivalent fraction. Can you kindly type there? Yeah, so I would take a 2 from the answer, a fish which is there, so it would become,
That's right.
yeah, very nice.
Using the fraction models, complete the following statement.
So this is 1/4. We have to make it so it becomes 2/8. Yeah, that's good.
Good going.
Using the fraction models, complete the following statement.
Yeah, so you have to see what should be chosen now. Yeah, very nice. So we choose 3 from here. So that's good. That's
On a
good.
roll.
So I
Using
just
the
finished
fraction
this
models,
and I
complete the
go back
following
to my
statement.
lecture. So I stop sharing this, but you have seen the website. You can play with that also. Okay. So now I go back to the whiteboard where I had written. Okay. Yeah. So I share it now. Um, so we did some work now, and there is something which we would do now, and this is something interesting. So let's look at the second question which is there. Hopefully you all are able to read it. I think I see if I can share it with you over Zoom chat, this paper. Just a minute, let me look at it. That am I able to share this image? Yeah, I can share. So just a minute. I shared these questions from the book and you are able to then even have it for your I think, yeah. So I have shared everyone image of this, so you can also download it at your laptop or your device and you can read this. Okay, so you can download it. It has been sent, the file has been sent successfully to you via chat. Okay, so first question is which of the following fraction are equivalent to 2/3? So kindly look at this question and type it. What fraction is equivalent to 2/3? And kindly write the answer in your chat. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Um, good, good, good. So if we see 4/6 and the factor is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, so 4/6 is equivalent to 2/3. Then 20/30, if you divide by 10, it becomes 2/3. And then we see that there is something like 10/15. So if you divide, so let me highlight these. I hope it works here also. No, it does not work, sorry. So 10 over 15. So these all are equivalent to 2 over 3. Let's go to the third question. Are the following statement true or false? 1 and 2 and 1 or 1 over 4 are equivalent fraction. Yes or no? False or true? Yeah, it is false. Naturally, it is false. Let's go to B part. Is 3 over 6 and 1 over 2 are equivalent fractions? Yes or no? True. Yeah. True. Yes, because if we divide numerator by 3 and we divide denominator by 3, it becomes 1 over 2. That's an interesting question. The C. The fraction 8 over 9 is written in its simplest form. Is it a simplest form or you can reduce it to its simplest form? Is it? Yeah. It, it can't be reduced to any further. So it's already in the simplest form. Very nice. It's true. Then we go to the D part. 14 over 21 can be simplified to 2 over 3. True or false? It's true because you can, if you see, 7 is a factor of 14, a common factor of 14 and 21, and 7 times 2 is 14, and 7 times 3 is 21. So you can do that. Okay, that's another interesting question. 11 over 99, 1 over 9, and 2 over 18 are all equivalent fraction. Is it true? Is it true? Let me ask my daughter also, who's studying with me. Okay, if we see 11 over 19, so on the in the table of 11, 11 times 9 is 99. So if we divide 11 by 11, 1, and 99 by 11, 9. So 11 over 99 and 1 over 9 is equivalent fraction. And then we see if we times 1 by 2 and also in the denominator 9 by 2, so it becomes 2 over 18. So it means this whole question, these all three are equivalent fraction. So it is true. Very nice. Some of the students have already mentioned it. And F, can 4 over 5 can be simplified to 2 over 5? No, it can't be. So it is false. Now this thing is very interesting. Why we do this? What we will learn now will help you to add and subtract fraction, which we would, that's the next part of today's lecture. So what we are going to do now will help us understand the next part. So it says, rewrite the following fractions with the denominator of 24. So let's do just few questions, not the all. First of all, let's do the A part. So we have to transform this fraction in a way that the denominator becomes 24. Yeah. Can you kindly do that? And I will also do it after some times with you. Yeah. So let's see how we are able to do that. And I would just do it at here. And let me take a pen. Yeah. So we have 1 over 3. So we have 1 over 3. And we want to write it in a form of just, so we want to write it in a form of 24 in the denominator. So if we see, and let me take green color. Let me take, yeah. And we see if we have to move from 3 to 24, so it means we have to times it by 8. So therefore, we would do the same thing in the numerator also. We would time it by 8. So we would have to time it by 8. And 1 times 8 is 8. So it becomes 8 over 24. Let's see, can you let me know what is a D? So if we have a 5 over 12, 5 over 12. So if we have to transform it into 24, so what should I write? I would take another color to write the numerator. Yeah, so it is 12 times 2 is 24. Therefore, we would time 5 by 2, so it will become 10. That's nice. That's nice. And let's do, that's an interesting question. That is F, 5 over 1. So can somebody let me know that if there is a 5 over 1 and we want to change it to 24, so what would be there? So we want to have it at the denominator 24. Yeah, let me take a green color. Yeah. So if we have gone from 1 to 24, it means we have timed 1 by 24. So we will have to do the same thing here, and we would time 25 by 24. And if you time 5 by 24, it becomes 5 fours are 20, 2, 5 2 are 10, so it becomes 120. 120. Just a minute, this 2. So that becomes 120. So we would leave that and just do one or more. So you have uh, this part with you. So I have already shared. So you can do these more questions and see. One thing, 5 over 1, and if it is 120 by 24, it's also equal to 5. So one thing which we learned also, that if numerator is greater than denominator, so the number would be more than 1. For example, here in this case, let me take a highlighter. We see that 120 is greater than 24. So it means the result is more than 1, and that is 5. Hopefully you understand that. Okay, so let's move to the next part of today's lecture. And what we have learned today will help us to do this. And that the part is adding or subtracting fractions. That's an important topic which you have to learn. If you have numbers which have the common denominator. For example, in this example, which is here, 3 over 8, 5 over 8, minus 1 over 8, they all have a common denominator. The common denominator here is, yeah, the here is 8. So we see that 8 is a common denominator. Yeah. So in that case, you can just have the denominator written as the same number and simplify the numerator. What I'm saying is, let me write it in a way. Let me take a color, a different color. What we have, because we have a denominator which is a 8, we would keep it like that. So it is 8 is there. And then we have a 3 plus 5 minus 1, and we close the bracket. And this thing is actually 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. So this becomes 7 over 8. So that's the answer. So it means if you have some fractions which do not have a common denominator, you will have to change them in a form that they have a common denominator. And I take the example which is given in this paper. So you want to add 1 over 2 plus 2 over 3. So if you see here, the denominators are not same. The first denominator is 2 and the second denominator is 3. So you will have to make an equivalent fraction of these in a way that the denominator becomes same. So what we see is that if we times, let me take a red color. So if we time this by 3, so we times, and whatsoever you time in the numerator, you have to times the same at the denominator also. So you will have to time this by 3. So this thing become 3 over 6. And then I take a green color just to for the second. Yeah. So here also you want to change 2 over 3 in a form that the denominator becomes 6. So there you times it by 2, and the same thing you have to time with the same number. So it becomes 4 over 6. And now you have the same denominator number. And here you can then add. So this thing becomes now, so this thing becomes 7 over 6. So this is something, and let's read that. Denominator must be the same before you can proceed with adding or subtracting fraction. If the denominator are different, use the lowest common multiple of the denominator to find the equivalent fraction. So you find here, we found that we can make them 6, and then you can do that. Okay, so uh, as I said earlier, recording of this lecture would be available at this following YouTube channel. I've again copy it and send it to everyone, hopefully in an hour. And now we move to the second. I give you few, I share a few documents with you so that you are able to do some work at your homes. So let me send some homework for you. So I just sent one. I would just send one through the chat more so that everyone is able to. I have to see. I have to. Yeah, I have to mute some of the participants. Yeah, I just muted so that, okay. So I sent you few uh, documents which you can see and do homework. Before I go away, I finish the lecture, I revise it once more. Uh, but before revision, if you have any question, kindly you can type it, or at least let me know that you found this lecture somewhat of benefit. Just so if you have any question, just type it, because we are almost at 10:50. We will revise it and then finish this lecture. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, Misha. So I am happy that I could be of some help to you in this time where everything has gone to lockdown. Okay, I just revise it before finishing the lecture. So today we learned few topics. What is a fraction? A fraction is a proportion, we can say. Why? That's also something which you should have known. If you look at your book, the topic after the fraction is decimal and percentage. These two topics which come after fraction, that is decimal and percentage, they are related to this fraction. Hopefully, I would find a time to teach you decimal, and I would let you know. But I would upload this lecture also on my YouTube channel. You like it so that next time you know, and you can share it with your class fellows or cohort also. So what we learned today is what is fraction and then equivalent fraction. So what is a fraction? So the fraction is formed when a whole number or amount is divided into equal parts. So this is very important that it has to be equal. If it is not equal, we are not able to say it's a fraction. For example, in this example, this whole figure was divided into 10 equal parts. So being equal is a very important aspect. Then we said what is a equivalent fraction, and during this we also said what is a numerator and denominator, just revising few former concept. Coming to the equivalent fractions are fractions that represent equal portions of a whole amount. So we said that we can transform a fraction into its equivalent fraction by multiplying numerator and denominator by the same number. And what is its use? The use now we know. Once I was teaching you, I did not talk about it, but now I can say that when you add or subtract fraction with different denominator, you have to convert them into equivalent fraction so that they have the same denominator. That's something which we learned. And then we did some examples. We then moved to the third part. The third part was simplest form of the fraction, and we said simplest form of a fraction is actually an equivalent fraction, and it is achieved once both the numerator and the denominator are divided by highest common factor. So let me highlight this highest common factor here also. So this is the highest common factor. We divided by, it's an equivalent fraction, and we did some examples today, and you also did very good. And then we did some examples of the equivalent fraction. The examples are shown on your, being shared on your computer screen. And then we moved to the next part where we said how to add or subtract fraction. And there we learned that to do this addition or subtraction, the first thing we have to do is to have a same denominator. And after that, you are able to. Okay. And then I have shared some homework with you. This is something which you should do, particularly these questions uh, which are, what are they called? No. Statements. So these statements question, you must do that because that actually give you a good understanding what is the application of this fraction. So these statements and the reasoning question, you should do that. I hope they are shared with you. And then there is something which is algebraic fractions, a higher one. So if you are keen to learn, go ahead of your class, do these algebraic fractions. So with this, I end my lecture today. It was a pleasure to be of some assistance, and just I would share it on the Facebook. Not on the, also I would share it on the Facebook, the link, and I will also upload this lecture on the YouTube. Have a good day. Stay safe. Cheers.